Welcome to my Halloween horror movie guide for the streaming service Tubi. I've chosen a few films that I think would be perfect to watch this time of the year, saving you time and giving you inspiration for something to watch this October. Starting off with a film from the 80s, Pumpkinhead. A grieving man seeks revenge on those who participated in the death of his son. He seeks out a witch to summon the creature of Pumpkinhead to aid him in hunting down those involved. So from that description, you can probably tell that this is a sad story. It's not really sad through the whole film, but it definitely has those elements with the father who is grieving. I do really enjoy horror films with a layered, interesting story. This is, of course, a revenge film. The imagery is just perfect for this time of the year. It's the kind of film that I would stick on a rainy day. The creature design of Pumpkinhead is really creative and unique, although it does remind me of a short story by Dean Koontz. I haven't read this in literally probably about 20 years almost. The short story is called The Black Pumpkin. It does follow a different storyline, but it has elements that are very similar. It's part of the anthology book Strange Highways. It's weird because it's been so long since I read this, but preparing for this video, it just kind of sparked an old memory in me. It's a slasher that is heavy on the creepy atmosphere. There's like a thick fog throughout this film, which just really adds to the miserable dreariness feeling. My next recommendation is The Taking of Deborah Logan. A film student makes a documentary where she follows an elderly lady, Deborah, who has Alzheimer's. She's also recording her daughter to see how this disease affects the whole family, but mainly focusing on Deborah. The film crew and Deborah's daughter soon realise that there may be something much more sinister going on with Deborah. This is a found footage supernatural horror film. It's definitely up there with one of the scariest found footage horror films for me. It has a creepiness that builds up and up, keeping you on edge and your anxiety high. There's some terrifying imagery, especially towards the end of the film, which I really wasn't expecting it to go all the way there. This took a film that I was already enjoying to a whole nother level when the horror elements really ramped up. If you're looking for something that's going to have you sleeping with the lights on, then definitely check this one out. My next recommendation is set on Halloween, and that is Terrifier 2. Following the events of Terrifier 1, it's now Halloween, and Art the Clown has arisen from the dead to claim more victims. Sienna and her brother Jonathan have become Art's new target as he terrorizes them, murders people around them, and finally comes to claim them. Will they survive this sadistic clown? And what is their connection to him? As are all of the films in this franchise, Terrifier 2 is incredibly violent and gory with scenes of dragged out violence. There is no panning away, and it does look very realistic with an amazing practical effects team. It's very intense. It's like so extreme that it's kind of silly and wacky, but still really sick. I personally think the second film is the best out of the three. They're not really films that I go to rewatch, but they are a fun experience, especially the first time you see them because the over-the-top gore and violence is quite shocking. I really like the character Sienna. We still have so much to learn about her. With the things that we do already know about her, it kind of feels like her and Art's story is going to take a fantasy or cosmic horror route. The next film is also set on Halloween, and it is actually the first time we see Art the Clown in a feature-length film, and that is the anthology All Hallows Eve. On Halloween night, two children and their babysitter decide to watch a mysterious, unlabelled videotape. The kids are keen to watch something spooky because it's Halloween, and the videotape doesn't disappoint. The tape includes 3 short films about a psychopathic clown called Art. The 3 shorts are The Ninth Circle, Something in the Dark, and Terrifier. The Ninth Circle starts in a train station. There isn't really anyone around and it's at night. Casey is waiting for her train. She soon isn't alone when Art the Clown appears in the train station waiting room with her. He ends up kidnapping her alongside 2 other women. Something in the Dark is about a woman getting pursued followed by an alien in her own home. And Terrifier, the short film, follows a woman who goes to fill up her car at the gas station. When she gets there, she sees an employee kicking Art the Clown out. Following these events, the woman witnesses something terrible and has to get the hell out of there. Between these short film segments, we of course follow the babysitter and the 2 children. This isn't my favourite, but I do think it's fun to watch this time of the year, especially with it being set on Halloween, and also if you're interested in seeing Art's origin. My next recommendation is a lot more light-hearted, and that is Death Becomes Her. Madeline and Helen fight to win Ernest's heart, constantly trying to get back at each other and one-up each other. They both end up drinking a magic potion that promises eternal youth and beauty. This isn't really a horror film, but it's more of a light-hearted, fun, spooky film with horror elements. I would put it in the same category of films like Beetlejuice. It's funny and campy with darker themes, making it perfect to watch this time of the year. If you don't want to watch anything too intense, or just want something more light-hearted or family-friendly, then this is a great choice. Obviously, it's a film that also has this commentary on beauty standards and aging within women. I love a horror film that surrounds this topic. Obviously, I really loved The Substance. I think because it's such a prevalent real-life topic, especially being a woman watching it, it is very relatable. It's quite dark commentary, but done in a comedic way. Next is another film set on Halloween. The whole film isn't set on Halloween, but there is a very important scene in it set on Halloween, and that is the film Donnie Darko. Donnie struggles with sleepwalking, constantly waking up in strange locations. He is also haunted by visions of a man in a twisted, scary rabbit costume called Frank. Frank is a very bad influence on Donnie, manipulating him into doing bad things. The story as a whole is quite confusing, but it is an amazingly well-made film. It has a very gritty and creepy feel throughout. There is some jump scares, and the unique design of the character Frank is really cool but really scary. I actually used to be terrified of him when I was younger. I couldn't even look at the DVD case, I was that scared. I couldn't listen to the song Mad World, which is kind of understandable because even now that song gives me the creeps, although I love it. It's so haunting and fits this film so well. October just is the perfect time to watch Donnie Darko because of the Halloween element and also the creepy imagery. I know a lot of people say this is a thriller, but to me it's kind of like a psychological thriller but also cosmic horror. Let me know if you agree with me or not on that. I genuinely think there is some terrifying scenes in this film. My next recommendation is The Love Witch. Elaine is a witch that uses spells to lure men in. She's looking for love, but things don't always end up going as planned. This film is very reminiscent of the 60s and 70s with the set design and the wardrobe design, especially Elaine's wardrobe. She has a very unique style. It really does fit her personality with kind of a dark aesthetic but with pops of colour. I wanted to include a film with a witch in for this list. Although Elaine isn't your typical Halloween looking witch, she is more of a modern day witch that just lives amongst people. This film is perfect if you're looking for a dreamy, colourful escape to maybe have a break from the dark and disturbing horror films. And lastly, I'm going to talk about a series, and that is The Creep Tapes. This series originally came out on Shudder, but it is now on Tubi as well. In The Creep Tapes, we follow a very strange serial killer. He kind of has a charm about him and he goes about things in some peculiar ways. The Creep Tapes are following the events of the films Creep and Creep 2. You don't have to have seen them to watch this, but I definitely think it helps with the context of it all. The Creep Tapes has jump scares and gore, but it also has this comedy element to it, with the killer just being so strange and peculiar and oddly likeable. I do prefer the films over the Creep Tapes, but they are still really good and of course shorter than the films. Each episode is a tape of one of his murders, so they are all done in found footage, which is, in my opinion, one of the creepiest subgenres. Definitely let me know your favourite horror film Halloween picks on Tubi. And as always, thank you so much for being here and supporting my channel. I'll see you again in another video very soon.